A shock has occurred in the FA Cup, as the team currently leading the Premier League has been eliminated from the competition by a minnow club in the Championship named Plymouth. The dream of a quadruple, which had just begun to flicker, has been shattered. It's the first costly lesson for coach Arne Slot, on a day when his personnel decisions led to the Reds' defeat. And more than ever, the Cop need to quickly regain their spirits and focus on the more important competitions and their championship ambitions. Because every opponent is waiting for them to stumble so they can overtake them. Plymouth Argyle, the team at the bottom of the championship table, created a major upset on Sunday when they knocked out Liverpool, the Premier League leaders, from the FA Cup in the fourth round with a 1-0 victory. Despite being the underdogs, Plymouth started the match with confidence from the very first minutes. They defended tightly, organized their play meticulously, and were not afraid to put pressure on the opponent's half. Meanwhile, Liverpool, with a heavily rotated squad, faced numerous difficulties in deploying their play and creating dangerous opportunities. The Cop also had to make an unplanned substitution when Joe Gomez suffered an injury and left the field after about 10 minutes of play. Coach Arne Slot made 10 changes to the starting lineup compared to Liverpool's 4-0 victory over Tottenham in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final. It's true that the Dutch strategist has the right to rest key players in the context of a very dense schedule. At the same time, it creates opportunities for reserve players to get game time. However, that cannot hide the fact that coach Arne Slot made a mistake. Changing 10 positions in the starting lineup shows that coach Slot underestimated the FA Cup as well as the minnow team Plymouth, and the result was a humiliating defeat. Although they still possess a quality squad, capable of defeating Plymouth, who are struggling in the English Championship, with an attack consisting of Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, and Federico Chiesa, Liverpool had a disappointing match. The trio of Diaz, Jota, and Chiesa played out of sync in attack, as if this was just a procedural match rather than an important FA Cup clash. Coach Slot's tactics also raise many questions. He didn't even include key players like Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis Mac Allister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ibrahima Konate, Cody Gakpo, or Andrew Robertson on the bench, leaving Liverpool without a backup plan when things went in a bad direction. And in reality, everything went wrong in a way no one expected. This match also exposed the issue of Liverpool's squad depth. On the bench, apart from Darwin Núñez and Curtis Jones, coach Arne Slot did not have many options capable of changing the course of the match. Young players like Trey Nyoni and Isaac Mabaya were not yet able to meet the requirements. One of the 46-year-old manager's biggest weaknesses is underestimating the unpredictability of English football. Plymouth, although at the bottom of the championship, are by no means easy to beat, especially when playing at home. They played with defensive discipline, taking full advantage of Liverpool's mistakes to score the decisive goal. This is not the first time a small team has created a shock in the FA Cup. But the Dutch strategist still made the mistake of underestimating his opponent. Although Liverpool dominated possession, 75% compared to Plymouth's 25%, made 593 passes, took 14 shots, and had 4 on target, efficiency was a luxury. More cruelly, they had to swallow the bitter pill with a conceded goal from the penalty spot in the 53rd minute. Even the most imaginative people would have found it hard to imagine this outcome. This was a match where the majority of Liverpool's players failed to meet expectations. Especially in the case of Federico Chiesa, in the 4-3-3 system used by coach Arne Slot. The Italian player was positioned as a right winger, combining with Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz to form a trio in attack. Although he played the entire duration of the match, apart from his energy and enthusiasm, the professional value that Chiesa left behind was truly minimal. He didn't have a single shot on target, touched the ball 61 times, completed 19 out of 29 passes, a success rate of 66%, made 1 key pass, created 1 big chance, completed 1 out of 10 dribbles, won 4 out of 17 duels, made 2 tackles, and lost possession 29 times. It's not hard to see Chiesa's very poor touch. Many times, the boy wearing the number 14 controlled the ball with his first touch, but it bounced a few meters away. Chiesa also tried to dribble and break through, but was easily pocketed by anonymous players. At some points in the second half, he switched to the opposite wing, but no difference was made. Federico Chiesa lost the ball too many times, seriously affecting Liverpool's attacking rhythm. The connection between the former Juventus player and his teammates around him, such as Diaz, Hoda, and Harvey Elliott, was constantly interrupted. Chiesa struggled in vain, and the cameras often pointed at him, capturing the image of a dejected and pitiful face. He was given the opportunity by coach Arne Slot to express himself, but then he threw everything into nothingness. It seemed that the goal Chiesa scored against Accrington in the third round of the FA Cup on January 11 would help him rediscover the sublime playing inspiration of his earlier days. However, these are still stormy months. Since the beginning of the season, the son of former star Federico Chiesa has only made 10 appearances. 3 starts in all competitions, with only 1 goal and 1 assist. The nightmare of injury has hampered the player's development. But Chiesa himself has also faced many professional problems when moving to the English football environment. Liverpool's quadruple dream has burst like a soap bubble. This is not a tragedy, but it more or less affects the psychology of a team with great ambition and the most stable form in Europe since the beginning of the season. Right now, Arne Slot and his players need to focus fully on the remaining fronts. For Federico Chiesa personally, the faint lights of a revival were lit, but then extinguished. The deeply disappointing performance against Plymouth further pushes Chiesa into the deep darkness. However, in the post-match press conference, coach Arne Slot still defended his rotation decision. He stated that in the current peak period, the key players need to be rested appropriately in order to continue the long-distance race, while the reserve players also need the opportunity to play to maintain their playing rhythm. The Dutch strategist affirmed that he did not regret the decision to bring a B team to home park, Plymouth's home ground. What coach Slot did not expect was that Plymouth would play such a good game. Liverpool had to pay the price by ending their chance of an unprecedented quadruple. But there's nothing to regret, Slot said. I think today showed why we needed to play with the guys we had available. The players who are used less often need to build up their match fitness to be ready for the coming months. We saw that today. The result is clear. A big disappointment. And the way we played. There's nothing to be happy about either. The lads fought for 100 minutes. They fought. But credit to Plymouth. A good game plan. Worked hard. And it was a clear penalty. A correct decision. This painful defeat not only knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup, but also raised many questions about coach Arne Slot's personnel management. Rotation is necessary to maintain fitness for a long season. But using a squad that was too weak against an opponent desperate for a win was a mistake. Liverpool are still competing in the Premier League, Champions League, and Carabao Cup. If the Dutch strategist doesn't adjust his tactics and make more reasonable personnel choices, his team could continue to struggle in the crucial period ahead. The defeat to Plymouth is a timely wake-up call, reminding us that no match is easy for the Cup without thorough preparation. What about you, especially Liverpool fans? Do you agree with coach Arne Slot's decision in the recent FA Cup match? Please leave your messages in the comment section below to let Tactical Talk know. And now, goodbye and see you in future programs.